Several invoked Godwin's law on my last video. Godwin's law is often cited in online discussions as a caution against the use of inflammatory rhetoric or exaggerated comparisons, and is often conflated with the fallacious argument of the reductio ad Hitlerum form. I would contest those who invoked Godwin's law on this video, although I welcome discussion on the matter. The human mind forms its opinions of the world based on the information it receives. If you control the information that someone sees of the world, you control how they see the world. Put simply, any human in isolation can be made to believe almost anything. To do this on an industrial scale, you need three factors: control of the media, to control contact of people with outside media, and harsh discipline for those who question the media. This was the case in Nazi Germany, and is a historical example of what such methods are capable of achieving. Pre-war Germany was a first-world Christian nation, much like any other, and within 5 years this was taken to the point where Germans were willing to pour Cyclone B into a room full of fellow humans simply as they believed them to be subhumans. The important lesson from history is not that the Nazis were evil. It was the degree to which a human mind, no different from yours or mine, could be distorted by the immoral control of the media. The natural defense of democracies against this sort of abuse is freedom of speech. Freedom of speech matters. Now look at Scientology from the perspective of someone within the cult. The church controls the media, and it reeks of propaganda.
Being a Scientologist, when you drive past an accident, it's not like anyone else. Drive past, you know you have to do something about it, because you know you're the only one that can really help. We are the authorities on getting people off drugs. We are the authorities on the mind. We are the authorities on improving conditions. Criminon, we can rehabilitate criminals. Way to happiness, we can bring peace.
People are told that anyone critical of the church is a suppressive person who they must disconnect from. Look at this in logical terms. The church has started with the erroneous statement that it speaks with divine authority, and that anyone who criticizes this is a liar who must not be talked to. They have simply ensured that those within the church hear nothing critical of Scientology, and the enforcement for those within its ranks who are critical of Scientology is exceptionally harsh.
Among them, they have years of experience in the Scientology prison camps, such as where Whitgage is said to have spent some time. One of them is Jerry Armstrong. He was coordinator in the Scientology intelligence service and a confidant of Hubbard, the organization's founder. But even he fell from grace. He spent 2.5 years in the camps.
I was the founding father of the Clearwater RPF.
The first prisoner.
I was the first prisoner.
The first prisoner.
And people really are prisoners. Scientology will say that people go voluntary. Absolutely not. To me, it was completely, I was so devastated I couldn't eat for the first 36 hours. It was as if my whole life had been stripped from me, because I knew, having been on the ship with Hubbard, I knew what the RPF meant.
He received this in writing, as shown by this document. Hubbard had charged him with 3 offenses: disobeying an order, neglect of duty, and poor work performance. Scientology has its own panel system with prosecutors, judges, and the accompanying prison camps. Of course, Scientology does not call them prison camps. They call it the Rehabilitation Project Force, RPF for short. These camps in the USA and Europe are run exclusively for people who don't fit into the elitist Sea Org. Hubbard determined the personal restrictions and penalties for them by 1974. The prison laborers are re-educated and made tractable by hard labor, compulsory hypnosis and brainwashing. All according to the slogan, "The RPF is what we make it. The RPF is where we make it." Scientology sells the RPF to its thousands of Sea Org members as their last chance to stay in the elite unit. By order, the camp inmates have no liberties. They are isolated and may not speak to anybody.
For these reasons, I would argue that the comparison between Scientology and Nazi Germany is not based on inflammatory rhetoric or exaggerated comparisons, and is hence not a case of Godwin's law. I would further add that I do not think that it's mere chance that Germany is among the harshest nations on Scientology. Many of them have seen this sort of thing before. The Germans' official status on Scientology is: the German government has for quite some time maintained that the chief purpose of Scientology is not religious, but economic in nature. According to the government, Scientology disguises itself as a religion if this might be advantageous. For example, in the remainder of Yugoslavia, Scientology claims to be a non-religious organization. In Greece, Scientology claimed to be a philosophical, not a religious organization. The German government maintains that Scientology is dangerous for its members and possibly dangerous for society. Members are spending huge efforts and large amounts of money. High debts, greater than $50,000, are not uncommon. Wages are low, often below welfare levels. Some of Scientology's activities are aimed at subversively invading the nation's economy. This is especially true in the areas of management training and real estate business. This government position was written by the children of the generation who saw this. Now pay particular attention to the language that the German documentary Missing in Happy Valley uses to describe Scientology.
They are surely unbeatable when it comes to one thing in particular: delusions of grandeur and fondness for theatrical drama and fine-tuned propaganda. In the center of the power rush is the current leader, David Miscavige. Since 1986, he has been the successor of L. Ron Hubbard.
There will be no more nothing, because on October the 1st, 1993, at 8:37 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the IRS issued letters recognizing Scientology and every one of its organizations as fully tax exempt. The war is